Good evening, everyone. To Pitch Points. This Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, I'm here joined with some really, really good mates. Some guys who I especially trust, love, and love talking to. All the way from Australia. Are you in Australia or in New Zealand? Where are you, man?
I'm in Australia, Melbourne, mate. I'm at home. In lockdown. In lockdown. We're in full lockdown. We can't go outside again.
What time is it, man? What time is it over there in Australia right now?
It's 8 a.m. in the morning. And we're in full lockdown. We have been in lockdown for about 10 days now. So we can't go outside. We're banned from. We can go out for about an hour. That's it. That's all we're allowed out. We've got 54 cases of coronavirus, and they've shut the whole state down.
Crazy.
So it's a bit different from America and a bit different from the UK.
Yeah. So Alan, just introduce Alan. Thanks for coming to the channel. I just do this for fun with fans all over the whole world. Alan's somebody I respect a lot. He's a great mind. Somebody we've talked all summer. He's helped me through the COVID situation. We've shared jokes. Yeah. We've debated and argued about different things. But I do respect him, and thank you for coming on the channel again.
No
and thank you for coming all the way from Australia. I really appreciate you, brother.
No problems. No problems.
Yeah. Martin. Martin is somebody who I also love and talk to all the time. We argue about stuff, debate stuff. Well, he's like the brother that I've always wanted, the guy who's always there. My brother from another mother. Martin, thank you for coming on the channel, bro.
My pleasure, mate. Good to be on at last.
And just for the viewer, these two guys are what they call the legacy City fans, right? These are the fans who were back there when City was shit, right? These were the guys who were main road going every single time, doing the hard work. And we new fans are just enjoying the fruits of that. So again, thank you for you guys. And this season was all for you guys. And thank you for coming on board, guys. Appreciate you.
No problem.
And I have my friend Carl from Liverpool in England. Again, Carl, thanks for joining. Carl is also a friend of the channel. He comes on once in a while to talk about Everton. I try to encourage him a lot of times, but welcome, Carl.
All right, lads. It's been a bit of a crazy week, hasn't it, for me, so what can I say?
Absolutely. Charlie, welcome, Champions of England. We're good, mate. Good to see you on board. Thanks for coming on the channel, Charlie. Hey, Charlie says legacy customers, right? Now, legacy fans, customers is a word that Martin and I have spot about. But I'll tell you what, guys, before we start, we're going to talk about a couple of things. Kings of England, we're going to talk about Man City and about the season, to talk about the positives of the season. There's so many things I got from the season. We'll talk about last game, Champions League, very quickly, and we'll talk about the positive aspects of the game. What do we learn from that game going into next season? And then we'll look forward into next season. What are we hearing as rumors? Who's leaving? Who's coming? Who's going? Sergio Aguero's gone, right? There's a massive hole to fill. Who could fill that hole? Do we have a guy called Prince Harry, or is it the kid from Dortmund, or is it somebody else from Milan, right? What are we going to talk about? Those are the things we want to talk about. And then the Euros. We have a front three. England has a front three of maybe Foden, Kane, Sterling, Grealish. Are they going to be City's front three next year? These are the things we want to talk about with the guys this evening. So again, welcome on board, guys. Real quick. So, hey, Alan, season summary. How did you feel about the season, Alan?
Overall, positive. Obviously, it was a poor start we had, but I think that was down to, no pre-season, to be fair. And also we hadn't signed Diaz at the start of the season. And I think one of the major positives of this season was signing him. I think he's made the biggest difference of them all, as far as his influence on the pitch and organisation and leadership, but also off the pitch. He's very driven, very organised. He certainly lifted the former John Stones up without any shadow of a doubt. And when he came in, everything seemed to go swimmingly well. We had that 15-game spell where we won every game, which theoretically has won us the league, really. We've won the league easy. In the end, we've won it very comfortably. So overall, I'm quite happy. We won the League Cup again, or as they call it, the Carabao Cup now. We've had a successful season apart from one game, which was right at the end of the season, which, I think we did let ourselves down in that game, to be fair. I don't think we played very well. I think there was a tactical error made by the manager at the time. But overall, it's not about one game, is it? It's about the whole season.
Absolutely.
We've done what we set out to do, was get that trophy back off the Scousers, and we've done it. And it certainly looks better in sky blue rather than that horrible colour red. So all good.
Martin, piggybacking on what Alan just said, I mean, let's go back to October or September. Start of the season, we had a shit performance against Leicester, beat 5-2. West Brom was crap. Looking back there and thinking about where we are right now, I mean, how do you feel about what we've achieved this season, especially 21 games unbeaten, Kevin De Bruyne out, no Aguero? How do you feel about the season, Dave?
I'm very positive on it. I mean, I was one of the few who came out with the famous quote of the year, "We'll do the quad." That was back in January, December time. Did we start poor? Of course we did. But there was mitigating circumstances behind that. No pre-season. Didn't feel like it was a new season. We jumped right from one straight into another one. We had new players that had to adapt. We had injuries. We had everything else that every other team had gone through. And if you look at the start of the season, there was silly, crazy results going on. Tottenham going to the Swamp and smashing them 6-2 or 6-1. You had Liverpool getting absolutely trounced by Aston Villa. These results were happening at that time of the season. So the Leicester result didn't surprise me at all when you look in the context of what was actually going on within the league at that point. It was crazy season. A lot of the games were feeling like cup games where there was no panic, there was no fear going in, especially for away teams. If you look at this year, I think this year a lot of teams have got to put in their best away performances that they've ever had, and they've also got the best away records they've ever had. That's simply down to having no fans, no worries, no fear, and they were just going there and enjoying themselves. And then we kicked on. The Kevin De Bruyne injury that we thought, we were all on Twitter and everything else, social media, and we were all hitting the panic buttons. What's going to happen here? Oh my God, KDB's out. The world had ended, especially our friend from Melbourne over there. The whole world was coming down and we were going to get relegated. But, we never looked back. And the one thing Pep did, he reinvented himself. As I've always said, when everyone else thinks they've got the answer to the question, Pep changes the question.
Absolutely.
Right from underneath them. And he'll do it again next season.
Absolutely.
And we've gone on from strength to strength to strength. And the final wasn't the best, but we've got to look at it in that. Yes, I blame Pep and the players. Both made mistakes in that game. But it's a learning curve. We've never been there before. And to me, getting to a final is an achievement. But we will be back there again. Listen, the greatest manager of all time that people say, Alex Ferguson, won it twice in
6 years.
25, 26 years.
Yeah.
You don't just turn up, rock in, and win it just because you've got money and top players. It doesn't work that way.
Well, Martin, to your point, there's a stat that they showed on CBS during the game. They said that for the past 10 years, no first-team participant in the final has won it, regardless of how talented they are, right? So that's, and we'll talk about that in the next. But I want to come to a fact, and Carl, I'll come to you in a minute. I mean, City played 63 out of 64 possible games this season. The only game we didn't play in was the FA Cup final of all four competitions. So when we think about where we were in October, and I was one of the as well, Martin, in the background, I was saying maybe it's time for Pep to go. Maybe we should look at Luis Enrique. I remember that discussion that we had in October because things are really, really bad, right? And then Pep signs his contract. And we all thought, is that a good thing, Martin? I remember, is Pep sign a contract? Should he, maybe it's time to change and go with somebody else? We talked about that. And then the moment happened. Fernandinho bringing the players together. I call him our spiritual leader on the field because not only is he a leader or an older player, he's almost like a father to the players. They have a meeting, they talk to each other, they bring the coach in, they talk about it. Next game was what? Bang, Chelsea away. And it was a lesson, a clinic in football. And for me, that was a moment that really just turned the whole season around.
We had 4 or 5 players at that game as well.
With COVID. With COVID too. So it was just a significant for me. Carl, talking about significance, and at one point, Cal, wasn't Everton top of the league? How did the season end up for you guys, man?
Please take me back. Take me back. we were beating, the Carlo Ancelotti train was rolling. We beat Brighton 4-2, West Brom 5-2, Brighton Brighton. I think we beat Leicester as well. We were beating everyone. And I think on Christmas Day we were second in the league. On Christmas Day, second in the league, joint top with Liverpool. I think we were 7 points ahead of City with a game in hand, and then something happened. I don't know what it was, but something went wrong. Something really went wrong. The whole season collapsed for us and. I don't know, but there's been a lot of rumours that apparently in February Real Madrid approached Carlo Ancelotti, and that's when our season started to decline, and that worries me because that for me means did Carlo Ancelotti have intention of leaving us back in February when we started losing games? And for me, this has been I know we have to be positive, but for me, this has been an awful season. We were destined. You have to be the last squad that we have, like it or not, is good enough on paper to get top 7. It's better than it's better than Leeds, it's better than West Ham's, and something's gone wrong with the football club and with Carlo Ancelotti. And obviously the players have to take blame, but I don't know. Something's there's no smoke without fire, and something's happened here with Carlo Ancelotti, and I think that's what's messed our season up, to be honest. And also, the mentality of the football club's just disgusting from top to bottom. For me, I just want to say to City, to use you summed it up perfectly. Use bounce back. You were 13th at one point. To most big teams, Liverpool, Manchester United, that would hurt them. But to City, it doesn't hurt them. They go out the next week and beat, Chelsea, £200 million player sport, 3-1. You beat Borussia Mönchengladbach. You beat Liverpool 4-1 at their own ground. You beat Manchester United and your rivals in the cup. The mentality, you've got the mentality to go out there and win every week. Even West Ham have the mentality. This football club lacks mentality, and that's what's been the biggest problem since Moyes left. The mentality of the football club's wrong. And obviously, just to finish off, the whole Carlo Ancelotti thing's absolutely just rubbed me up the wrong way because, I didn't believe there was no loyalty in football until now, and I think that's, for me, proved that there definitely is no loyalty in football.
I told you I have a different perspective on the whole Ancelotti. I don't think Ancelotti would have done any good for you guys. I think if you get Nuno, I think you're probably better off because I think he's a man who understands England. He probably is a guy who can get Everton back to winning ways. But I want to introduce Ade. As Ade George is in the US with me, he's a brother who's over here. Ade, I have the guys that I talked to all summer, last summer during COVID. Martin is a legend in Manchester, Man City fan for life. Alan is in Australia. Ade is with me in the US. Please meet each other and greet each other.
Awesome, guys. Good to meet you guys. Sorry I'm late. I was doing a couple of things. I was running a bit late.
So let's quickly pivot to your best and worst match of the season, Alan. Which match do you think, of all the matches in the Premier League and even the Champions League, which match gives you, good memories? Which is your favorite match?
I think the Liverpool away from home was excellent because we'd not won there for such a long time. I think last time we won there was when Anelka scored. And the performance at Anfield, because usually when we go to Anfield we freeze. That has a lot to do with their fans because literally they're on top of the pitch near enough, and they're very intimidating, and they get all the wins at Anfield with their fans there. That's affected them, I think, big time, to be honest with you. But I thought the Liverpool game away from home was a very big game. I think when I saw them thrash them there, I knew we'd win the league. I thought this is it, we've done it. I couldn't see anyone catching us at that point. I really couldn't. But the worst one, Leicester was bad. West Brom was bad. But I thought, I'll be honest with you, I thought the naivety in the Leeds game was bad as well. I thought City were very naive, especially the last 10 minutes, and they just threw everything forward and said, "Well, solve the defence." And in one respect, it happened. I know it didn't really matter as much in the Chelsea games in the FA Cup and the Chelsea game in the league where we played substandard sides, but tactically Chelsea played exactly the same way in the final, and we didn't learn anything from those two games. We knew that's the way they would play, and that was disappointing. That was pretty disappointing, to be honest with you.
Ade, what about you? What was your worst and best game actually for the whole season?
Worst game. I think the worst game for me
It's that 7-2 game. I'm sorry. The 7-2 Leicester game.
5-2.
Yeah.
The
Huh?
5-2. The 5-2.
It might as well been 7-2. that game that tore me apart, man. I couldn't handle it. And that was when I knew something needed to be done. I mean, we all knew something needed to be done, but I think that put an urgency on things. My best game, funny enough, was the first game Ruben Diaz played. I don't remember. I think it was a low scoring game, wasn't it? Was it like 1-0?
Martin, was it Leeds away? 1-1? Was it?
Yeah, it was the Leeds one.
It was the 1-1. It was a 1-1 game with Leeds. I know it was a low scoring game, and I don't. Yeah, we didn't win. But after that game, I knew something different was going to happen because of the way we played defensively, and where I saw how Ruben Diaz was communicating. I mean, he was new. He was coming into the team. You know, usually newer players, they're deferential. They give way to the guys already there. Like, okay, you go ahead. Let me see how you lead. Well, he was leading, and this was like his first or second game. I don't know what it was. And I saw him pointing, directing people. I was like, he reminded me so much of Vincent Kompany. And I was like, I think we got something here. That was when we didn't really know what he was going to do. It was just the beginning. But as soon as I saw that game, I was like, this is something different. I mean, we played a Leeds team that plays like we do. They didn't have a fear for us then. So they pretty much played us head to head, and they counted, so they gave us a really tough time. But that game was when I knew, okay, this is the start of something different.
Martin, speaking about Ruben Diaz coming in, what was your own best game and the worst game? Just to piggyback on what the guys are saying here.
The best game it's not the Chelsea game. The game when you actually look, from my opinion anyway, the whole turning point of the season was the Southampton away game. It was a 1-0. That we never looked back after that. And if you think about it, Southampton were flying high at the time. I mean, I know people say about Chelsea, but Chelsea, if you go back, they were on the end of the Frank Lampard regime. They were in a little bit they were going downhill under Lampard. Southampton at the time were in the top the top three at the time, and they were flying, and we were way behind them. And the way we went there with so much confidence, and the way we played was outstanding. And I always thought Southampton's a turning point, because I remember watching it going, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be our toughest one, going to Southampton away. Yeah. And we made it look so easy and so comfortable. The worst game for me is not Leicester, and you're going to think that's crazy. The Leicester lineup was very, very much a makeshift team. We had Garcia in. Nathan Ake was only making his second or third appearance. Ben Mendy was at left back. That Leicester game was not our true 11 that would gone out there anyway. So I honestly, the worst one for me, and maybe it's a personal thing, was the Manchester derby at the Swamp. And the fact was, it was the fact we didn't lay a glove on him. It was basically looked like Pep and Ole had shook hands before the game and gone, I'll tell you what, lads, let's go 0-0. We'll go home and finish it. And I'll tell you what, if that is, and what I always ask for in a derby, I ask for passion. I ask for commitment. That is the least amount you want in a Manchester derby. And we got nothing at all. That was not a derby. It was a pre-season friendly, and that was the way we played it. And that was my low point, because I don't care what you do. They're the two biggest games for me. Manchester United, home and away. And you turn up in them.
Yeah. Martin, I want to come to you and Alan and talk about the derby in a minute, because the question I have for you guys, but as well. But is it fair to say that if we had lost that Southampton game, it was game over for the season? It was that critical. I remember that going into that game. I think we talked about it offline about the importance of winning that game, not a draw. We couldn't afford that game. We had to win that game. And Southampton, I think, was second or third or fourth in the league. Yeah, it was a big game. So if we had lost that game, maybe the season would have fallen apart.
I just think that when we played Southampton, it was about momentum and getting consistency. That was the key thing. And once we started to get consistency from that Southampton game and the Chelsea game, and start to put game in, game out consistency, week in, week out, getting wins, that was the turning point. Okay, the Chelsea game was definitely the turning point. The consistency, game in, game out, day in, day out, made that was the difference, and that's what Pep got. He changed a few things. To be fair, Diaz made a huge difference, but he certainly changed a few things. He put Gundogan further forward, which he did. He moved him further up the pitch, and that seemed to make a huge difference. Because if you remember, KDB was out for a period at that point. And all of a sudden we started to win games. Bernardo stepped up as well, and he played in midfield. He stepped up and started to turn his form around. And I think a lot of that was getting the consistency and the fitness back into the players. I don't think if we'd have lost against Southampton or drawn against Southampton, I think it was more about the performance and getting that performance going again. Because once our performances come, we know if City play well, we'll beat anybody. We
talk about performance, Alan. You talk about performance right there. We'll go back to the Manchester derby. So there's not a divide, but two schools of thought, right? And we talk about this, Martin, on Twitter, you and I. But from a local fans perspective, for people who've actually grown up in Manchester, and then Carl, you too, as a local Evertonian in England, right? My thought was, don't lose against United, get a point. That's good. It keeps us alive. But from your perspective, guys, Alan, Martin, and Carl, I guess the passion around winning the derby is more important than just a draw.
To me, because I'm from Manchester and I lived there for a lot, 40 years of my life. When it comes to derby match, it's about beating them. It's not about points.
Yeah.
It's about not to beat them, right? It's not about points. And Carl thinks the same about when they play the Vermin. So at the end of the day, it's about we've got to beat them. We have to win. All right. Now I remember that game at Old Trafford. I think we'd been stuffed the year before at home against them on the break. We were very vulnerable on the counter, and at that point, I don't think we were fully, at speed that day. And Pep, with all due respect, went for a draw. He went to keep a clean sheet. He went not to concede at all, and he played quite negatively, which. In a derby, that's what we used to be like when we went to Old Trafford. With the days when we were, pardon the words, shit. We know if we went to Old Trafford and got a draw, we were celebrating because we all knew they were a better team than we are, and the best we could ever hope for was to get a draw. But since 2011, 12, when the money's come in, the ambitions of the fans have changed. They expect. United have gone down, we've gone up. And going to Old Trafford that day felt like a loss, even though we drew at Old Trafford. It did feel like a loss because of the attitude of the players. What people don't understand is for 30-odd years, Martin, myself, or all the City fans in Manchester used to get it in our necks consistently from United. And we went down 2 divisions, financial problems. The club was in a mess. We had God knows how many managers in a few years. The team was really, really bad. We were down playing Macclesfield, Lincoln,
York away.
Bury. We lost to Bury at home at Main Road.
York away.
Yeah. And to go through that, I suppose that the people in America who are watching this won't understand the concept of having a pyramid of leagues. It's all a very close league in America where it's all franchise-based. We're not franchise-based in the UK. The clubs own themselves. And if you don't perform, you get relegated. And if you don't perform again, you get relegated again. And you end up going down the leagues. And we didn't deserve to be in the Premier League at that time. Leeds have been through it. Sheffield Wednesday have been through it. Aston Villa went down to 2 divisions. And it's a good concept because you only get rewarded on performance and doing well. And if you don't do well, you get relegated, and that's the hard part. But going to Old Trafford that day, well, we were pretty much the top dogs in Manchester and have been for about 10 years now. Since Ferguson's gone, we finished above United every year. So we expect them to beat them. And going there and playing for a draw, it did upset me. It was negative. I think United were quite negative as well, to be fair. But that's the way United play. They play on the counter-attack. They don't dominate teams like we do.
Martin, just coming back. I mean, so which was worse, Martin? Losing at home in the same season, or the draw away at Old Trafford? Which was worse?
Both.
The loss at home hurt because you're losing. I think they both hurt. The thing is, like Alan said, it's spot on. It's not about points in the derby. The points are, of course you want to win it for the points factor. But City fans over there, we don't look at it as, it's 3 points this. We always, when the fixture list come out, the first fixtures look for is Man United. When we're playing them, when have we got them? And as much as United will always say all the time, our biggest thing is Liverpool. Well, it's not really, because if Liverpool was your big rival, you wouldn't call us the noisy neighbours. You wouldn't have your director of football, one of your directors, your former manager, going to our opposition team hotel for a chat before their games. At the end of the day, there's a lot more to it. You know, like Alan says, we went to school and we had it rammed down our throat. You know, every time Man City did something, we were trumped. The year we got to Wembley in '99 when we got promoted against Gillingham, Man United went and did the treble. And we were on the pitch singing, "You can stick your treble, you know where." Live, 30,000 people on the pitch, and we would do it. And that's what it is. And I think it's because we've got family members. You know, we've all got a family member in our family, whether it's a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, a grandma, an aunt, an uncle, who are United fans. And you live with it all the time. You walk around. I mean, they're not even in Manchester. Let's call a spade here. Don't give me the Newton Eve stuff. They're not even in Manchester. They're in Salford, which is a city of their own. So it's not even a derby, really. But it's bragging rights. Like Alan says, I've been to a few derbies. I went to the one when Joey Barton scored in the last minute and we equalised. And we celebrated like we just won the FA Cup.
I was there that day.
I was there when Benjani scored. You know, we went on on their anniversary, unfortunately, of the sad Munich air disaster. We went there and we beat them. Then it's just you have to beat them, and getting beaten at home hurt. And I think what it was with the draw away was the way we played. I've never seen us that negative, and we looked like we were scared of them. And that was, in our point, we were like, why are you scared of this lot? Why are you scared of this lot? Go there, play your game. Let's get the points. Let's beat these. Let's have a sing. We go home. Why are you going there scared of this lot? And it's happened Pep's done it for the last 2 or 3 years. I've been to many, back, it feels like 10 years now, the time when we were all allowed in the stadium. And we got beat by United then. And it hurts. It hurts.
So
I'll tell you what, Carl, put it in perspective.
Yeah.
It hurts more by getting beat by United than it did in that Champions League final.
Yep.
It hurts more.
Wow.
Can I just say, Carl, like what Alan and Martin saying, like you got to think, Martin and Alan are quite lucky. You got to think, I was born in 2003. I've seen my club beat Liverpool 5 times. And one of them times we beat, 2 of them times we beat them, I was like 8 years old, so I can't really remember it. The first time, and then we beat them again in the Cup of Goodison, and I was only like 11 months old. I've never seen Everton beat Liverpool at Anfield in my life until like months ago. And that was, and I know it sounds stupid, but that's the greatest moment of my life. That's the greatest moment of my life as an Everton fan. Seeing us go at Anfield and beat Liverpool, because it means everything. Like, if I lose to United, it's all right because I don't really know many United fans. If I lose to like Burnley, you shrug it off for 2 days. If I lose to Liverpool, I can't shrug it off over until like the next month. It hurts that much. You can barely sleep. You go to bed that angry that you just got to get back up. You can't sleep, and then you go into school the next day, or you go into college, you go into work the next day, and you've got some idiot there who's a Liverpool fan going on about how they've won bloody 6 Champions Leagues and they've never even seen them on TV. And the only time they've never even been to the ground after the Liverpool fans, because what they're like. And then they bang on about Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool fans, and all that. And it's horrible. Merseyside derby's horrible.
Cal's spot on there. The build up to a derby doesn't start a day or 2 before. The build up to the derby starts 2 weeks before. You start prodding each other. Right, you ready? Here we go. And and you can tell in the area the build up's there. And you're prodding at each other and you're ready and you're finding out who's going to play and who's not. And and you're texting your mate, "Oh, you're ready." And honestly, the night before, the day of the game, you have butterflies like it's a cup final. Really
Yeah.
big. And you
nervous,
just do.
very nervous.
And you get butterflies like, oh God, we're going here. And I used to dread going to Old Trafford, hated it, dreaded it, because I knew we were going to be on a hiding to nothing half the time.
Charlie says, my grandma's age 81, United fan. My granddad is 83, City fan. You don't want to be in their house on Derby Day. Adi, coming to you. I mean, so Adi and I in the US, I mean, we have Chelsea fans who are friends. We have United fans who are friends. Is it the same, Ade? Do you experience the same hatred for United as you do with, our Chelsea friends and our Liverpool friends? What's the feeling? What's your experience?
You know what? Just listening to them, it hit me because I get it now. I get how they feel. You know why I do? Not for football, not soccer. Because like you said, we have Chelsea fans, we have United fans. We didn't grow up in Manchester. We are just fans of the team. We love the team. But now I get how they feel because you probably relate to this. When in American football, the Dallas Cowboys and the Redskins, it's the same exact thing. That rivalry that they have, whenever Dallas Cowboys is playing the Redskins, it's the biggest game for both those teams. It's not the championship, but it's like they have to win that game because it's bragging rights for the whole season. Like the whole season doesn't matter. It's just that one game. And for me, that team in another sport is American football is between the Ravens and the Pittsburgh. Exactly. So it's the Raven and Pittsburgh game. It's like it's the biggest thing on the schedule. It's hatred. It's like we would rather beat them than win the Super Bowl. Because beating them is bragging rights for like the entire season. So I get it now. I get it.
But it's like Alan's point, right? Alan made a point which was, talking to me, but I get it. Alan said earlier on that losing to United is more painful than actually losing the Champions League final.
And that's how I get it. I get it from the sense that even if we lost the Super Bowl, but we beat Pittsburgh twice in the season, I'm okay. I'm good. As long as they didn't win. My biggest joy was them not win. If they didn't win, I'm fine. Even if we didn't win, I don't care. As long as we beat them. So I
tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. You ask United fans who they supported last Saturday.
Probably Chelsea.
There you go.
Yeah, mate, my phone was when we lost last Saturday in the Champions League. My phone was read up within 2 seconds of that final whistle going. It was all United fans, and they were praying we didn't win it. Praying. So,
but apparently we are irrelevant. We're irrelevant. We live rent free in the.
Can I just say it as well? And I think Alan and Martin will know this. There's always been history. A bit you could argue negative history between Everton and Man City fans. But over the last few years, Everton and Man City fans actually got on because we both share. Obviously, we share it a bit more, but we both share the hate for Liverpool. Honestly, I would drive. Go on, Alan.
It's the fans. It's the Liverpool fans I hate. I can't stand them.
See, it's like honestly, like it's horrible because like I can't speak Spanish, but when Real Madrid won that Champions League against them, I found myself speaking Spanish, eating Spanish food, Spanish meals. I loved it, and honestly, it's amazing because you see, we don't see as an Everton fan, we go through a lot of bad moments. You know what I mean? Because it's Everton, we just do, but. When we see Liverpool lose, when I saw Liverpool get absolutely destroyed by Man City, this sense of, I don't know, happiness came over me because I knew from that moment, no league, there's no 30-year wait, there's no Sky Sports documentary on them. It's over. You know what I mean? There's no how Jurgen Klopp's, better than any doctor in the world because it's Jurgen Klopp and he manages Liverpool Football Club. That's another thing that Alan and Martin will know. The media over here, for some reason, have some sort of love for Liverpool and Manchester United.
It's not just media over there in the US. The media over here. I mean, FSG is owned by Americans, right? I mean, United are owned by the Glazers, the Americans, right? The media over here is dreadful at times and really over the top. Mark, you talk about rent free, and I'll switch to the next subject. Rent free. Today, we've been living rent free in every fan base's head. Why? Ruben Diaz, Pep Guardiola, Phil Foden, clean sweep of all the trophies. What's it been like in the UK today with all these wins for Pep, Manager of the Year, Diaz, Player of the Year, Foden, Young Player of the Year? What's it been like for City fans, local City fans, Alan and Martin?
I'll let Martin go because he's at home at the moment, and he's in Manchester, so he'll be able to tell you.
There's not been a big hoo-ha about it. There's a lot on social media. See, the thing is with City fans, we don't sit bragging all the time. We're not big braggers. We're not, the one thing, I like to think that we're gracious in success and we're gracious in defeat. But
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just funny because we sit back
Yeah.
and we're watching Liverpool, United fans, and Chelsea. I've never known Chelsea fans be as boisterous and gobby as they are right now. I've never heard it. It amazes me. And what they don't realise is they've won a cup competition. Congratulations. And that's fine. Not a problem. They can call themselves champions of Europe. The last time I checked, England was in Europe and they ain't champions of England. So they need to step down a step for me. They're well done, the champions of Europe. They're not champions of England. So they're not really champions of Europe. But all you see is Mason Mount, Virgil van Dijk. All you're hearing is that.
Mm-hmm.
It is just that. And you sit back and you laugh. And you just fold your arms and you smile and you go, keep talking about us. Keep talking about us that you're not bothered about.
I've had Chelsea fans over here. I've got a very good mate of mine, Toby, who's from Knightsbridge in London. He lives over in Melbourne. And he was ringing me up going, you just thought you could turn up and beat us. All I've heard from back home in the papers that this is an easy game for City, blah, 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 you're massive favourites. He says, and you got your asses kicked. And I went, Toby, it's the UEFA FA Cup. It's not a league. You haven't won the league. And he went, the Premier League is the number one trophy in Europe now. The prize money tells you that. 165 million to 90 million proves that. The European Cup, as it was when it was just the champions on the top, of the first champions of each league playing that competition, then it had that prestige. Then it had that. And it's trying to follow on from that. I think it's been devalued because you've got the top four sides of every league playing in a knockout competition. Yeah. It's a knockout competition. To me, to win a league, you've got to be consistent, game in, game out, game in for the whole season. Not just over 8-9 games. And it's a different concept.
Absolutely. I want to talk about one of the things I love about City fans. I'm learning this, and Ade, it exemplifies this also in the US. I had a Chelsea fan today send me a video of a clip from the game, right? And I'm like, City fans have moved on. We're talking about next season. We're talking about Haaland and Harry Kane and Grealish. We're talking about how we can strengthen the club. We won the Premier League. We are the champions and kings of England across all male competitions, not just the Premier League, the 23s, the 18s. Heck, we have even Liam Delap won the best player in the EDS for that level. So we're thinking about the future. But and so being gracious in defeat.
You know what, Carl?
The attributes I love about the club and the fans.
Every one of us, as a fan, said, and they've said it all the time, well done, you deserved it.
You did deserve it.
Not one of us has bitch, moaned and complained about this final. We've all took it on the head and gone, well, we didn't turn up, never mind. Was we angry on the night? Of course we was, but that's being a football fan. But every single one of us has said since, well done, Chelsea, you deserved it.
Absolutely.
There's been no excuses from City fans, and that's my whole point. Sometimes you've got to be a bit gracious in defeat as well.
Yeah. Sometimes
you take it on the chin, and trust me, anyone who is a City fan should know what a defeat is. You take it on the chin. That's all it is. You take it on the chin, you move on, because, listen, we'll be back there again. And we'll learn.
Let's talk about some positives from the game last Saturday very quickly. What positives can we take from that game last Saturday? For me, I'll start off with my own perspective. And I mentioned this to you, Martin and Alan and Ade, that the fact that we got to a Champions League final, going through PSG, Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Gladbach, right? For me, getting to the final, playing the way we played, was a win by itself. In one game, anything can happen. Pep goes mad. He throws a bone, and anything can happen. Red card, injuries, it happens. But getting to the final can only give them the taste of that final, and hopefully they'll be back there again. That's my own perspective. How do you see it? What positives can we take?
I look at it as this, Carl, is we've had the season we've had by getting to. We've won the Premier League. We've got to the Champions League final. We won the League Cup. We got to the semi-final of the FA Cup. Like you said, we played 63 games out of a possible 64 without a striker. Without a striker, and it happens to be Sergio Aguero. He hasn't played hardly any games, if any, through injury, okay, and fitness, and we've still done that, okay? So to me, a positive is that we've managed to adapt and play a system that doesn't involve a striker really, because Jesus is not a striker. You know, he's been more a false nine or a left-sided player, right? We managed to adapt a season and still come out winning 2 trophies.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? All right. We lost last weekend. We looked well on Chelsea. We didn't deserve to win because we didn't play well. We didn't. Whatever the players they didn't turn up. They might have froze. Yeah, it's the first time we've ever been to a Champions League final. Right. Absolutely. So let's move on. Let's look how we can improve.
Absolutely.
How can we improve from this year? And there's plenty of areas in that team which I feel that need a refresh and an improvement on to give us more adaptability for teams like Chelsea, who played 8 in defence for 90 minutes against us in that final. Okay, which they did, and they played on the break. They did. And we need to be able to have more ideas going forward. Definitely. We certainly need someone to cover us in that CDM role without any shadow of a doubt. That's one thing I've learned, is that we need to have someone there who can really dominate in that position to make sure that teams can't come at us. But we also need a striker, don't we? And there's a debate on the fullback.
We'll talk about that next going forward. We'll start looking forward. But what positives can you take from that game on Saturday, very quickly, and followed by Martin and then Carl? What's one thing you can take from that game? You can say, well, next season we'll be back.
Well, I think they pretty much said it all. I mean, the positives from that game, from that particular game itself, I don't really have a lot from that particular game for what got us to that game. Yeah, absolutely. It's the fact that we were able to adapt, and we showed that before. The year Kevin De Bruyne was out for pretty much all of the year, where Bernardo Silva stepped up. Like, we can always adapt when we lose a significant player, and I like Pep's system. So I think the addition of a striker is going to really change City. Yeah. If we have a premier striker, he's going to be like, for lack of a better term, he's going to be like a gravitational pull. Somebody dominant like that, like a Harry Kane, will attract all those other defenders to him, and then it opens up the spaces that Sané and Sterling used to find on the wings before. And that's what happened when Aguero was dominant. When Aguero was bossing everybody, they were concentrating on him, and it allowed those guys to freely flow from the wings. So I think a lot of positives are going to come. That particular game, I think, I don't really blame Pep as much. I do, but after I reflected on the game, I realized, okay, you know what? He tried something. If we had scored first in that game, his plan would have worked. His plan was all banking on us scoring first, because you put a lot of attacking players in there. You don't put a traditional DM in the game, because you think if you score first, you will control the game with all those players you have. It didn't happen that way. They scored first, and we ended up chasing the game. So the idea is great, but I think what he just needs to adjust to is that don't change what brought you there. You played a certain way up until you got to that game, and that particular game you decided to change things in that game. If it was a two-legged game, we would have figured them out, because he's good at that. He's good at making the adjustment. Once he says, okay, I made a mistake there, I'm going to correct it. But it's a one game, so you can't make big decisions like that in a game like that. So
can I just say,
Martin, I'm going to come to you in a minute. I wrote this article real quick about even Chelsea and Pep. Pep will always dominate the Premier League. You know why? Because he's a genius, and the genius will always find, over 38 games, find the keys to unlock the puzzle. It's going to happen, right? Now, in a one-off game, Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea are probably the worst team to face because they have 8 defenders and 3 strikers, and they can counterattack. And Pep only has the error to make in one game that can lead to them losing, which is what happened in the FA Cup, which is probably what happened in the Champions League final. But in the 38-game spread, like the Premier League, the proper league, Pep will always figure it out because the genius finds a way to solve the problems that he creates for himself by playing these systems that we all know have a problem. Martin?
Yeah.
Positives last week, not many. I'm not going to lie. Getting to the final was a positive, being there, experiencing it, taking the experience and the weather out, knowing all the whereabouts of it all, being in the final, taking that away. I think the players will. I don't, I do put a little blame on Pep as well as the players. I'm not going to lie on that one. I think it's crazy to play 50, 60 games with a CDM and then all of a sudden now I'm going to have a brain fart and change this. Because Addy's spot on. That system was to blow Chelsea out the water within 10 minutes.
Correct.
And after 10 minutes, what Pep should have done, after 10 and 15 minutes, Pep should have gone, all right, this hasn't worked. I'm going to revert back to type. And we go again. Because at that point, you're 75 minutes in and you're 0-0 and you can still go for it. By the time these changes had happened, De Bruyne had gone off the pitch. Chelsea were 1 up. Their whole tactic had changed. The whole game plan, the whole structure of the game had changed by the time Fernandinho would come on. You can't bring him on at 75 minutes and expect anything to happen. It wasn't going to do. And unfortunately, you learn. Because listen, Pep, I always say it, doesn't matter how good you are always got room for improvement. And that is what Pep always thinks of. I might win all these trophies, but I've got learning to do next year. As the players do as well. Because listen, some of those players not bottled it, they dropped it on Saturday because when we don't know, we weren't in there. You saw it in the tunnel, Mahrez and Stones going at it, tooth for nail.
Half time, yeah.
And you go again, they'll learn. But they'll learn, and that got to remember Chelsea had been there before.
Correct.
Chelsea had been there and won it. Thiago Silva's been to World Cups and everything else. A lot of our players, it's learning, and we go again.
And Carl, I'll finish with you on this topic, but this is kind of this is why I like to give it a week. And Carl, we talked about doing a show after the game, and I've learned about myself, and I like to process things over time and get the reasons why. This is why we're having the discussion today. And looking back now, you think, well, got to the final, we've learned a lot. It can only help them next year and the year after and the year after. That's the fact. From an Everton perspective, what did you take away from that game from a City perspective, Carl?
I think what Martin said probably is better, though. I think it was probably on Pep more than most because it's, he came out, but you don't experiment in a final. Whoever that's an FA Cup final, League Cup final, Champions League, Community Shield, you never experiment in a final. You experiment the game before. You should have experimented against us, played the youngsters against us, so we could have got Europe and beat you. That's what you should have done. But now you played, I don't understand that why you played. But for me, Sterling's too predictable. On that left, he's so predictable. Everyone knows what he's going to do. He's going to try and get a yard of pace on everyone, and everyone knows that. So defenders know how to beat Sterling now. Where Foden should have started on the left. He just didn't start him.
Let's not start this debate.
But I mean, I think we've all learned something from that last game. I like to move on, and I do know there is a massive hole we need to fill. Martin, Alan, Ade, we lost Sergio Aguero.
Can I just say, Carl, before? Can I just say before you go on? I still don't understand why he started Gundogan because everyone knows, even I know, he hasn't got any ability of a defensive midfielder.
Well, Carl,
he likes to get forward.
Carl, my answer to you is that this is the price we pay for the genius of Pep Guardiola. We always have these moments of uncharacteristic madness that we have to live with. When we look in 5-10 years' time, when he's won 6 or 7 Premier Leagues, maybe 1 or 2 Champions Leagues, what are we going to remember? Is it going to play in the 6th, or what the joy he's brought to many of us fans? So that's the perspective.
I just think
Guardiola, what he does. So You know,
I
that's
just
who
still
he
didn't
is.
understand in the game. Like he just still he left it till the 70, I think, second minute to bring on Fernandinho,
Yeah.
and you saw
That's
the
what-
difference straight away.
Because
Like, the movement
it's
of the
really
ball was
hard.
better.
Sorry, Carl. It's really hard for somebody to admit mistakes while it's happening. And he's a human being. He's just like everyone else. So while it's happening in his head, he's still thinking, my plan is still good. My
Mhm.
plan is still until they scored. Then he was like, man, I messed up. And now he's trying to correct it. And it's kind of late at that point, especially with De Bruyne being out. So you know what? Like Carl's saying, it's the price we pay for genius. He
Yeah.
misses it one time and it cost us, and we just got to move on.
I think I've heard Alan say this a few times, and I think I've heard Alan say this. The last year that I've known Alan it's the fourth year in a row he's done this. He done it against Monaco, he done it against Liverpool, Tottenham, Leon. He done it, and now he's done it again.
Leon,
Every time.
Leon
Every
did
loss
against
in
Leon
Champions
as well.
League. And I said it to Carl. I said only one man beats Pep Guardiola, and it's Pep Guardiola.
Carl, I'll give you the answer to the question, right? Go and watch this movie called The Queen's Gambit. Okay, if you watch that movie, go watch it. Go watch it, right? The only person who could beat this lady, the Queen's Gambit, was herself. And until she figured out how to overcome her weakness in that area, she wasn't able to win against her greatest rival. If you watch that movie, that's Guardiola in essence. The only person who can beat him is himself. And until he figures out, how do I not overthink this problem in the biggest moments, and I trust myself, my instincts to overcome it, we're going to suffer in that area. But
one thing I'll say to you, Carl, is that every time Pep has 2 weeks to think about a game, he overthinks it, and when he's given too much time to think about a game, if he flows from
a great point. It's a great point.
He flows from Saturday to Saturday, it's fine because he said, "Well, play that team, play that way, win."
No, but he's not Alan. Alan, you look this season. He's gone every 3 days. He hasn't got time to.
That's true. That's
true. He literally plays the game, rest, train, game day, train. Train.
But
3 days.
Alan said he's had 3 weeks to sit on his hands and go, "Oh, let me get my tactic board out here. Let me see what I'm going to do." And he's gone. I'm gone. I'm going to brain fat all up. And what Pep did was, do you know what's been working for us all season? Nah, chuck that out the window. I'm going to keep it.
I said the same thing.
You know what? Here's the scary thing. Every single fan knew it was going to happen. We all knew because there was rumours out. I had a mate out in Porto. And I'll tell you what, as soon as that team news broke an hour and a half beforehand, there was rumours 2 or 3 hours beforehand about Sterling starting and no Fernandinho. And trust me, to a fan, all of them went, "Oh my God."
Yeah, we did the same thing.
They knew what was coming.
Same exact thing happened here. We saw it, and I texted Carl. I was like, I thought I was missing something. I was like, "Where's Fernandinho? Where's Rodri?" That's the first thing I said. And he was like, "They're not playing." And I was like, "Wait, what? What do you mean they're not playing?" And I saw Sterling. I was like, "Wait, that's where Foden's supposed to be. What's Sterling doing out there?"
Yeah.
I was like, and then I was like, the optimism in me was like, the optimist in me was like, you know what? Maybe it will still work. And then I was watching on my hands the whole game, and then they scored, and I was just silent. And for the rest of the game, silent, didn't say anything. It went off, just turned it off. That was it for me.
I was stuck in lockdown here because we were going to the pub, but obviously when the lockdown hit, the pubs were all shut. So I'm sat here with a mate of mine, Alex, and he's from Crewe, big City fan, and he sat there, and when they announced the team, he hit the roof. He threw a piece of food on the floor. He was livid. And my phone went off. And there's a girl called Claire, who's a massive Man City fan from Manchester, from Hyde, and she lives over here, and she's fanatical City. And she basically rang me, and I could hear her talking to Alex, and she went, I'll pardon for swearing, but she's going, "He's done it again. He's done it again. He's done it again. What's he doing?" And this is an hour and a half before the game started. It was.
I mean, I was beside myself, frankly. I was like, why is this guy doing this? Why? I think I saw a tweet from Lloyd Scragg. I saw a tweet from him where he said, no Fernandinho, no Rodri, Sterling starts. Tweet. I'm like, why? But this is the price we pay for Pep. This is what we deal with. This is
One last point. One last point. You know what really hurt the most about how we lost that game? When you watch how that goal happened and you see Ilkay. I'm sorry, guys. When you see Ilkay running through the middle and you see the ball just whiz right in front of him, and you're thinking, if Fernandinho was playing, he's a defensive-minded player. You think that pass goes through? You think Mount even plays that pass if Fernandinho? No, he would have taken a foul or he would have stopped it. So it just hurts more when you watch it and you see what happened. It's just, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I've moved on. You guys are opening an old gas. Let's move on.
Nice pour around this discussion. Again, the lesson for learned is that we got to the final. We played some beautiful football against PSG. Probably the best team, second best team in the world, PSG, when they're on their form. We got through 2 wins, home and away. We'll be back next year. But I want to talk about the big issue now, looking forward. Sergio Aguero is gone.
Yeah.
We need a striker. Alan, Martin, Carl, Ade, what the hell do we do?
I'll let the guys there in Manchester. They have the better information than we do. What's going on, guys? Who we get?
I'm gonna say, we can use these big names like Kane, Haaland, that everyone wants. One of those two, right?
Not Ings, please. Not Ings, please.
No.
Not Danny Ings.
But I've got a sneaking feeling. You tell me when has Pep gone out and signed, I would call it the FIFA type striker, the big name. He's always made a youngster into a superstar.
That's true.
Right? And they've never gone crazy on spending stupid money, like 110, 120, 130 million on a player. And I've just got a sneaking feeling that name that just came up then, that's the
Andre Silva.
That's where he's going.
I've heard about this kid.
He's amazing.
I hope you're wrong.
Listen, before he's scored the same amount of goals as Haaland this year. But
I hope you're wrong.
I've got a sneaking feeling. I've just got a sneaking feeling that Haaland to me is out of the question because
that's out the question. He's out,
right? Because they want 150 million as a price tag, then 20 million on top for his dad, and 20 million on top of the 150 for his agent. That's 190 million. And after COVID, forget it. Don't go there. Right? Plus, the one thing I don't like about Haaland is his off the field antics. He's constantly going here, going there, planes, nightclubs. And not just that. Do you think Haaland would stay at City for 10 years? Nah. He'll be at Real Madrid in 3.
Martin.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, I know Carl is Andre Silva's agent. I understand that. Listen, Andre Silva. I remember another guy who was amazing and great and all this. Was a young kid called Jovic. Who was scoring goals in Germany, and he's amazing. And off he popped to Real Madrid. And his ass fell out, and we've never heard of him since. Listen, it's all right. I watched this Andre Silva kid. I thought, you know what? Carl's going on. A few others have mentioned it. I thought, I'll have a little look. No, not Patson Decker either.
Patson Decker is crap.
No. We're going to start buying from the Austrian League now. Listen, I have no problem with a Patson Decker or an Andre Silva coming in as another striker. No problem with that. There's a number 2. But from what I listen, and I only hear what other people say, and I only hear the press over there are basically saying they want Harry Kane. Harry Kane is the man they want.
Gotta be.
And now listen, the problem is you're looking at Daniel Levy. I disagree with Alan. I do think they'll spend big. If you watch Khaldoon's interview, he virtually says that that's the road we're going down.
Yep.
We're going down this road. If you listen to Caldini's interview, he knows. Like they've said, he's going to strengthen in 2 or 3 areas. And they won't just be signings, they'll be top boys.
Yep.
And as much respect to Andre Silva, he's not a top boy at the moment. Maybe in 2 or 3 years. So you can get an Andre Silva in for 45 million. But the trouble is, let's be honest now, Man City come knocking, it won't be 45 million.
It'll be 70.
You're looking at 65 million.
Martin, very quickly. So I saw this earlier on today about Conte not signing for Spurs. Is that because down the line, Levy's told him maybe Kane is going to leave?
Nope. I just think Spurs are an absolute mess of a circus club.
Yeah.
And the rumours are it was Tottenham pulled the plug because he wanted too much money. And we don't know how true that is. Listen, I don't know a lot about Tottenham. All I know is Daniel Levy will cut his nose off to spite his face.
Let's face it.
Daniel Levy will throw money away if it means he gets what he wants. He
Remember, we
want to overtake him and dictate to him. Never.
Also, remember, we've done business with Spurs before. I mean, we got Kyle Walker. So there's a relationship there. So I believe, yes, Pep isn't notorious for going after these big names, but the reason you go for Harry Kane isn't just footballing anymore. You have to look at the marketing aspect of it. You're getting England's captain. This is England's darling player into that team. It brings more fans into the game. And so the business standpoint of getting a Harry Kane is actually probably more impactful than the footballing. We as fans love the footballing aspect of it, but the marketing you can do around a Harry Kane, it's amazing. So you do whatever you can to get that player. You all the contacts you have that you built before from the Kyle Walker deal, you call up those guys and you make it work because he will be a standout player. And he's 27. The likelihood of him leaving a club like City and going somewhere else, it's probably slim. So you're talking about somebody that could possibly be there for another 7 years. You got to do what you can to get that player on the team.
So Alan, coming to you very quickly. This is almost similar to the marketing around Harry Kane, in my opinion. The marketing around Harry Kane is so huge in England and overseas that the money almost pays for himself. Think about Harry in the number 10 shirt for Man City, for example, right? Yeah. Not just in England, but overseas. England's captain, England's darling star. He creates the media narrative for Man City that we couldn't buy with buying a Haaland, for example, in England, right? The positive vibe. Overseas, it's a huge deal. So if Daniel says he wants 150, 120, should we pay that money for Harry, Alan, Carl?
Well, I personally think Harry Kane is the finished article. If you're looking for the finished article, Haaland's still got development. Haaland's still got development, okay? Yeah. You know, we still can improve. Haaland's Harry Kane is the finished article. And the difficulty is not City not wanting to spend the money, because if they want him, they'll get him. The difficulty is dealing with Levy. Okay. Now you mentioned Andy about Levy with Hollywood relationship. Look, trust me, Levy is one of the most astute chairmans in the Premier League. Right? He's probably the ideal one you'd pick if you wanted to make money out of a club. Okay, because he's tight. Okay, he's tight as a duck's backside. And he's a nightmare to deal with because he is ruthless. Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at the Walker situation. When City went for Walker, it took us 8 weeks to get him. Yeah. The price kept going up all the time.
Berbatov
took ages to get him. Yeah, when United went for it, it was a nightmare. He's a nightmare to deal with. Right, he will get the last penny. And the situation with Jose is the biggest example of the lot. Who on earth would you get rid of a serial winning manager the week before the League Cup final, which they haven't been in the final for?
They had to. Do you know why? Because they had to have paid him more money.
Because they would have had to. If they won a trophy, he would have got a huge bonus. So he gets rid of them the week before a final, right? Because he would have had to have paid him millions. Okay.
That's the bit everyone leaves out why he got rid of
Yeah.
Mourinho, because he had a trophy bonus in his contract.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're dealing with someone who is ruthless, all right? And Levy's already come out and said he wants to keep Harry Kane, which why wouldn't you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not going to make it easy for us.
No.
I'm telling you straight, he's not going to make it easy for us. This is going to drag on until the season starts. I am absolutely telling you.
Alan, sit back and get your seatbelt on.
You thought the Koulibaly situation cranked on ridiculous. This guy, Levy, makes Napoli's chairman look like mincemeat. I'll tell you straight now. This guy's ruthless.
But on the flip side, though, I mean, so Kane says he wants to leave. Okay, let's put that aside for a moment. If there's an opportunity for Levy to get 120 million for Harry Kane right now, that's the most he's going to get over the next couple of years for Harry Kane.
He won't 150, mate. He'll try and get the most out of it. The thing is, if Harry Kane puts a transfer request in writing, he loses all his bonus rights and all his signing on fees.
Right, but then
basically, he can verbally say it, but if he puts it in writing, he will lose a lot of money. Okay, so Harry Kane will have to. I'll guarantee you, Harry Kane will have to put it in writing, because then he'll sell him on the basis that Levy won't have to pay him as much to leave. Now, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Don't forget. Hey, don't forget now. Don't forget with Lever, he's just turned down Conte. Their best chance or hope of getting a top manager in because of money, and other issues. So he will, like I said 10 minutes ago, he will cut his nose to spite his face.
Oh yeah, big time.
Instead of going, tell you what, I can get Conte here. I'll get rid of him. I'll go.
What does Andre Silva's agent think about all this?
Andre Silva's agent. What do you?
Trust me, and I'm not just saying this because I love the man. He's incredible. Andre Silva is genuinely incredible. I watch Frankfurt, I've been watching Frankfurt for 3 years. Silva's been there for 2. And the way he links that side together is unbelievable. He doesn't play really. This is going to sound crazy. You probably don't know who Adi Guter is. He's the Frankfurt coach. He doesn't believe in formations. He thinks if you play with formations, you're a joke. He just tells him if you play football, you're going to win, and just believe in yourself. And Andre Silva, under him, you think Andre Silva struggled. He's been amazing everywhere he's been, at Milan. But at Milan,
it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. We don't want him.
He struggled at Milan.
I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to say one thing now. Whoever we get up front with the service that we can provide, that person's going to get 20 goals.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Carl? Can I just 1 second, Martin? You've got to let me talk about the God himself. This season, Andre Silva in Frankfurt. You got to take into account Frankfurt have had a tough season. Borussia Dortmund, you got to think Haaland has Sancho. He has incredible players giving him the ball. Andre Silva's got Kostic, who's probably the only decent player actually giving him the ball. Silva has 29 goals, 10 assists in all competitions. He's played 34 games and got 39 goal contributions for Frankfurt. He can score penalties. He can score either foot his head. Man City, that's one of the only things.
We score penalties.
Not just that. It's not 45 million. Andre Silva's release clause is 25 million euros, not pounds.
We don't want him. You can't market him. We don't want him.
And the way he is on the ball.
I'll tell you what we can do. We can send
the ball. He's incredible on the ball. He can pass. He's got a great passing range.
Yeah.
So
they couldn't afford his wages.
Wages. Go back to Caldoon's interview. Caldoon said this year teams are going to have to be creative on signings, which tells me City won't spend 150 million on Kane.
No, not.
They might spend 70 million plus a player.
Yeah.
They might do 80 million plus a player.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's not how Levi thinks.
This is the way around. Pardon? Say it again, Cal. Sorry, mate.
I said that's not how That's not the way Levi thinks. That's the problem. And I think you said it to me. It said it on one of your streams, Martin, a few days ago. Teams are going out for their number one target. And the problem is, Erling Haaland, like it or not, is the hottest talent in world football. It's probably Mbappe, but Mbappe's not leaving. It's Haaland. Every club, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, City, Chelsea, all want Haaland. Everyone wants Kane as well. They're the two. There's not going to be many teams going for Andre Silva. There's going to be, even at Danny Ings, there's not going to be many clubs going for 2-3 strikers who are cheap and teams want to save money.
No, I understand that, Carl. I get that, but are you going to replace Aguero with Danny Ings?
No.
But the thing is, though, is like with the Andre Silva thing, let's be real. You'll never find a striker ever, probably in your club's history, who'll be as good as Sergio Aguero. Sergio Aguero was a different level of just a different level altogether. But
I'm not
25 million for someone who can get you 30 goals.
I think Carl,
Andre Silva's the man. Bring him in.
Carl, I think the issue is, and I mentioned at the start, was that Sergio Aguero's hole needs to be filled by Sergio Aguero close equivalent. Andre Silva is like Gabriel Jesus for me.
It's never going to happen. It's not going to happen, Carl.
You need to have somebody who's close to that level of gravitas, such as Harry Kane. In my opinion, is probably better. Imagine a Harry Kane, Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez, Foden feeding him, and this guy could score 40 goals a season.
What about his injury record, though? Kane's got a pretty tough injury record in his career. What happens if that ankle, which seems to happen every single year, goes 100 million, 120 million down the drain? You know what I mean? Because of an injury. That normally amount.
There's actually a stat that I saw that Kevin De Bruyne has the same amount of injuries as Harry Kane over every season, and is actually out for longer than Harry Kane is out every season.
What about Haaland? Like, I think teams are going to think. For me, teams are going to think.
No one's going to get Haaland. I think we have to step away from this Haaland thing because it's a fantasy we all have. He's not leaving this season. We have a problem that has to be addressed right now. So Haaland isn't coming to City at all. That's out of the question because Haaland's release clause of 75 is what every team is looking at. So the business side of football is actually something that fans need to pay a little bit of attention to. If you want to sign Haaland right now, like Alan said, you're going to spend like 190 million. Nobody has 190 million to spend. So you have to wait till that $75 million clause kicks in next year. So as far as City's concerned, we have to address the problem now. So the only options are, I hope to God not, Andre Silva, God please not, and or Harry Kane. I would prefer Harry Kane if they can do this deal with.
Addy, I'm going to spin this now on you and say, Jesus, go, Andre Silva in, and get Kane.
Now that I'd have.
I'll take that right now. I'll take it right now.
100%.
I'll take it right now. 100%.
No, that's the thing.
That to me is if we get Andre Silva, let's say 40 million, right? Let's for argument's sake, right? 40 million, and Jesus goes, and we sell him for 40 to 60 million pounds, right? To Tottenham, which knocks off Harry Kane's figures, and we get that.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can think of that will spoil that is that I still think we need a CDM, and I still think we need a left fullback.
Yes.
Martin, can you talk about the engineering we may have to do to get players in, the players that need to go out? It's a good segue, Alan, to this point about who could go out, who we heard that's going out, and who could actually come in that we need this segment of.
I think I've been tossing up with the idea of someone bidding for Raheem and whether we let him go or we don't. At the moment, he's in negotiations for a new contract at City. He wants an extra, 50,000, 100,000. We don't know. But I think if we get a number 9 in, Sterling would improve.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
I mean, that's precisely my point. Alan's right.
Yeah,
Alan's right.
But on the same point, I don't like him on the left. I like him on the right hand side.
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
You know what? Carl also says that I think Sterling likes to be there. I think he likes to be on that left because he does a lot. when Aguero was such a force pulling defenders in, he did some brilliant work on the left. I know everybody
But
says
Andy,
he's better on the right. I think
when,
he's really like Stones.
when Sterling lost his form under Pellegrini when he first came, right, and he was playing on the left-hand side, he got his confidence back. He's a confidence player without any shadow of a doubt, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
got his confidence back. He banged him on the right-hand side for about 10 games. Got his confidence back. And I think he needs to do that. I think he needs to be put on the right-hand side to get his confidence levels higher, all right? Then once his confidence levels then he can flirt on the left-hand side if he wants to.
I got you. All right, you got a point. You got a good point.
Confidence levels are low. When he plays for England, if he plays on the left-hand side, he will be a disaster in the Euros.
I'm not going to get involved in the Raheem Sterling debate.
Martin, can you talk about this guy, please, Martin?
Very good player, very good player, but
yeah.
I don't think anything CDM is going to happen this year because
No,
because apparently Fernandinho is going to sign a new contract.
He was on the Sky Sports. He was on the Sky Sports release page, you know.
Yes, he was. He was, but City are very calm on that, Carl, and they've just offered him the contract after that. They had no choice but to put him on because he hadn't agreed a deal yet.
No, fair.
Doesn't mean he's not going to agree a deal. The thing is, apparently he wants 2 years, Fernandinho.
No.
And that's where the thing is. Fernandinho will stay and Rodri will stay. So CDM's full. Maybe CDM next summer. Maybe next summer.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard things that might be not a CDM, but a central midfielder may come in. I'm also, but players going out. I mean, I said this the other day to you, Carl, on Twitter. And it was just something I heard, and you know what? And I've been thinking about it for days. And it's right. We are one of the only clubs in the top echelons of this league that keeps players for a gold watch and a lifetime season ticket. We are the only team who do it.
I know.
No, we are. We do never ever sell anybody. We never do it. I was listening to a podcast on Ian Cheeseman, brilliant podcast, and someone sat there going, I can't remember the name, but they went, don't want anyone to go. Don't want anyone to go. Bring in 3 players, though, but so we're going to end up with a 45-man squad because no one's leaving and everyone's coming in. It doesn't work that way. The one thing Ferguson and Wenger and Ferguson were very good at was they knew where a player had to go. And I think, I just think there'll be 2 or 3 out. I think there'll probably be 2 in. Who they are, I do not know. But I think this will be a good summer.
Can I just say, though, I think, like, everyone's throwing, I've been hearing names of Grealish, Kane, Nuno Mendes from Sport. Nuno Mendes is going to cost 45 million. Kane, say 100, 130, 140 million. And then Grealish is going to cost a lot of money, arguably 70, 80 million. When you finish, that's nearly 300 million. And if you do bring a centre mid in, another centre mid, that's close to 400 million, you know what I mean? Of 4 or 5 players.
Yeah, but players go out, Carl, don't they?
I know, but you've also got to take into account who, let's be real, what certain thing has been against Manchester City since you've got this takeover. FFP.
Yeah.
Hate Manchester City with a passion. And this isn't just me with my love for Andre Silva. You buy him for 25 million, you can improve the rest of the squad. And that's the thing. You know, that's what Man United used to do under Ferguson perfectly. Chelsea, you know, to an extent have done it previously. City do it perfectly. You don't go out and spend 300 million after winning the league because you don't really need to. You just need minor improvements.
Yeah, totally disagree with that. Totally disagree with that.
Kane's a great player, don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying Kane's 10 million sounds. Kane's the best, in my opinion, other than Lewandowski, they're probably the best striker in the world. But I just think it's a lot of money, 400 million in COVID times as well. We are still in COVID.
The reality is that if you lose an Aguero-sized hole, you need to have somebody who can at least step into that hole. And much as I like Andre Silva, I don't think he's that person. Neither is Gabriel Jesus. I think we need to have the traditional number 9, like a Lewandowski, to be able to play the system we need to play. Having said that, there's an area of the field that we need a player in, which is left back. Theo Hernandez is, for me, probably the hottest left back right now in Europe.
Oh, he's incredible.
From Luke Shaw, right? I mean, Theo Hernandez is a brilliant guy. Is it Milan? Is he a Car? Where is he? Milan?
He's at AC Milan, but he's already said anyway he doesn't want to leave Milan because when he tried to go to Sociedad and Madrid, he kind of was poor there. and he said he's happy at
back.
East Milan. But in City's system, he'd be. Honestly, it terrifies me to think how good he'd be in your system.
I don't mind Andre Silva as a backup to a Jesus or replacement to an Jesus. The problem is if Andre Silva comes in, and it won't be 25 million. I know he's got a release clause, but release clause don't mean anything. They don't have to be. This is the thing that everyone forgets on release clause. They don't have to go for the release clause. If there's 2 or 3 clubs in the bidding, a club can bid over the release clause if they want. A la Suarez when Arsenal made it.
Yeah.
Didn't go anywhere. So release clauses don't mean a lot. You know, Eric Garcia's got a £350 million release clause. Do me a favour. Do me a favour. It's just the thing is, if it's just Andre Silva and he comes in and he doesn't hit the ground running,
What
you're
then?
screwed.
Yeah.
Think of it that way. You got to think about it on the other side. And on Carl's point, very quickly, I know we're going to
Wrap up. Yeah.
wrap it up. But on Carl's point about you don't need tweaking, not many teams retain a title when they bring in one player or don't do anything. A la Liverpool,
No, I
a la
wasn't.
Blackburn, a la
But
Man City.
what I meant though, Martin, was I didn't mean I didn't say one player. I just meant you don't go out and spend like hundreds of millions. You bring in 3-4 players. That's what I
But we're
meant.
not but we're going to bring in 150, 200 million, Cal.
I don't know.
We've got to sell Cal as well.
Who's going to want to leave City as well? That's the problem. You're looking at it now. There's players.
Well,
at City.
apparently, Cal, there's about 7 players unhappy.
Yeah, but you look at it. Raheem Sterling. Let's be real. Where is Raheem Sterling going to end up? Let's be real. If he left Manchester City now, he wouldn't go to Madrid because it looks like Madrid are saving up for Mbappe.
We'll do a swap deal with Tottenham. Straight swap. Do
you think? Would he really want to go to a team like Tottenham?
I don't think Sterling's going to want to go to Spurs.
Yeah. No, I think no matter what happens, and just go wrap.
He won't get his wages back there. He might go to Liverpool. He might go back to Liverpool.
Might go.
Sell it back to Chelsea.
There are a couple of things that are clear from us, guys. That clearly Aguero's gone. There needs to be a replacement. That's clear. That's clear.
Yeah.
We can't play another season playing a false 9 with Jesus. We just can't. There needs to be someone who feels that that's the side. And the chairman's statement has been very clear. He was very clear on making the investment needed to improve the squad every single year. And I think Pep will be back. The question now becomes, who is that person going to be? Is it going to be Haaland? Probably not. Is it going to be Kane? Likely. Or somebody else? We shall find out. For me, again, going back again, guys, this season to me has been fantastic. Losing Champions League was disappointing, but it's not overwhelming my sense of joy at winning the Premier League to get to the Carabao Cup final. Don't forget, Carabao Cup, we beat Man United, we beat Tottenham, we beat Arsenal, we beat all in succession to win the Carabao Cup, which is a hard, and 3 games were away, I believe. United away, Tottenham away, Arsenal away, all the way from home, winning in the midst of our run. So it's been a fantastic season for Manchester City. And to the fans who are local, I can't wait to hear you back in the stadium next year. I can't wait to visit the Etihad. Hopefully, Ade can join me as well to see you guys enjoy. I've learned so much in this COVID season being with Man City fans like Alan, Martin, Andy, and many, many more out there about the culture, about the city, about the club. We disagree, we argue, we debate, we fight, we make up again. But through and through, we're learning to be City fans. Adi and I, who are far away, we're learning to understand the culture of the city, the culture of the club, the culture of the players, and most importantly, the culture of the fans. So I really want to thank all of you guys for really joining me today on the channel. And I'll give you guys some last words, starting with Alan.
Let's be positive for next season. There will be some changes, people going and people coming in. And, we've got the best manager in the world. So let's be positive and say, let's go at it again. And let's have the determination to get back to the final and this time win it. It's the Champions League. So it's been a good year. It's been up and down. We've had our arguments. Martin,
1 o'clock here now. Hurry up.
You should have heard Martin's argument yesterday, but there we go. That's another matter. But everything's positive. Yeah.
Martin.
That's the longest outro Al's ever done. On a positive note, and this will hurt Alan a lot, I get to renew my season ticket on Tuesday for the next season. So, Alan, tough luck, mate. Anyway, I am back. I'm going back.
I'm gonna do it as well, but unfortunately, I can't go.
It's been a great season. We keep boiling the you know what. We carry on the up. There'll be ins, there'll be outs. It'll be a great summer. Yeah, and thanks for having us on. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but watch out for some very exciting news in the coming next few weeks.
I'm all ears. Looking forward. Excited about what's going to happen, Martin, from you. Keep my ears to the ground. Kyle, our Everton fan, who's also the dark blue. The last word, sir?
See, you're lucky because you can be positive. I've got nothing to be positive about. I'm going into next season with no manager. I have no manager. James Rodriguez is leaving with Charles. Everyone's leaving. Also, I just want to ask you, Addy, because I know you're a big fan of Nuno. Nuno, because they're saying Nuno is like journalists are saying that's 99% done. Basically,
You're going to
Nuno's
sign
everything.
up Portuguese players.
Does that mean that you're gonna? Because you've got the Wolves jacket, haven't you?
Yeah, I like Wolves.
Does that mean you're gonna get an Everton jacket?
Nuno. Yeah, I might get in there. I might get an Everton jacket because of Nuno, because I like Nuno a lot. So
yeah, hopefully we sign all the Portuguese players. Diaz, Bernardo
Felix,
Silva.
You might even get Felix from Atletico.
Buy them all.
Win the league. Doubtful.
But yeah, on a serious note, thanks for having me on. It's great. Even though Martin's here, obviously, it's disrespect and Andre Silva disgusts me. But yeah, just great to be on this.
You being an Everton fan disgusts me, so be quiet.
Mate, we all know what Martin was like with KK last year. He was coming every day of the week for about 6 months.
Every night.
Hey?
Every night with Martin. Koulibaly.
Yeah, the guys who said it all. It's been a great season. I'm really excited about the upcoming season. I think just if you have any doubts, if you listen to the chairman's last interview, the 3-part interview, he says it all. We know what we need. We go again. I like the confidence they have in the manager and the confidence he has in them. And we just have to correct a few things and we'll be good.
Just to wrap up real quick, the chairman mentioned one word I loved: disruption.
Oh, I love that. I was pumping the air when he said that. I was like, okay, go on!
Yeah. If there's one thing Manchester City has been, is a disruptor. I've watched the main road antics, the videos that Alan has sent me about the old days, and the fans always showed up. Whether it's York away, whether it's Macclesfield, getting beat by Middlesbrough, fans were always there. Always supported the team. And we new fans have to learn how to do that. Through thick and thin, Champions League losses or wins, we have to be there with them. Enjoy, suffer with them, and ultimately, we'll win. It's great to be a Blue. Thanks, guys. See you on the next channel, on the next show.
Thank you.
City for life. Thanks, guys.